Have you ever scrolled through social media and wondered where you truly fit on America's complex and often misunderstood wealth ladder? Maybe you have stared at your bank account, questioning if you are ahead or behind everyone else in your specific age group. People constantly throw around terms like middle class or wealthy, but what do those labels actually mean in terms of real dollars? Today, we are looking at the specific net worth numbers that separate the lower, middle, and upper classes in the United States. Some of these figures might surprise you, while others could completely change how you think about your own personal financial journey. Before we begin, consider what wealth means to you. Is it a mansion, luxury cars, or simply the ability to pay bills? The reality of wealth in America looks very different from the images we see on our screens or in popular culture. Understanding these numbers is not just about curiosity, it is about knowing where you stand to make smarter financial decisions. According to Federal Reserve data, the median American household net worth reached $195,000 in the year 2022. That represents a 38% increase from 2019, which is the largest percentage jump since this modern survey first began. But here is the most interesting part of the data. While the median is under $200,000, the average is much higher. The average American household net worth is actually over $1 million, creating a massive gap that confuses many everyday families. Why is there such a huge difference between the median and the average? The answer lies in how wealth is distributed. Wealth in America is highly concentrated, with the top 1% of households controlling nearly 35% of all national wealth. A small number of households hold an enormous share of total assets, which pulls the mathematical average far above the median. This concentration of capital creates distinct wealth tiers, and we are going to break them down one by one right now. We begin our journey at the lower class, where households typically have a net worth between $0 and $17,000. The median net worth in this group is roughly $6,500, which might sound extremely low to many observers. However, remember that net worth includes people at very different stages of life, including students and those recovering from major setbacks. A recent graduate with student loans, or someone rebuilding after a divorce, may temporarily fall into this specific financial category. What often defines this group is limited financial flexibility, as many live paycheck to paycheck with very little emergency savings. When unexpected expenses arise, they may rely on high-interest debt, which makes the process of building long-term wealth even harder. One difficult reality is that being poor is often expensive, as people cannot take advantage of discounts or lower interest rates. Next is the lower middle class, with a net worth ranging from roughly $17,000 to $60,000 in total assets. These households often have stable employment, modest savings, and perhaps some retirement assets that they have managed to accumulate over time. They may own a home or have begun building the foundation of financial stability, which is a major step forward for them. However, they remain vulnerable to job loss, medical expenses, or economic downturns that can quickly erode their hard-earned financial progress. Many earn just enough to disqualify them from assistance programs, but not enough to feel truly secure in their daily lives. The middle class ranges from approximately $60,000 to $168,000 in net worth, with a median of $145K. This is what many people consider the traditional American dream, where families own homes and contribute regularly to retirement accounts. These households take occasional vacations and have enough stability to plan for the future, which is a significant achievement today. There is still variation within this group, as some feel constant financial pressure, while others enjoy a very comfortable lifestyle. What unites them is the ability to meet current needs while making consistent progress toward their long-term financial goals. Then we reach the upper middle class, often called the mass affluent, which represents a significant jump in financial status. This group typically has a net worth between $500,000 and $2 million, depending on their specific location. Many are high-income professionals, such as doctors, lawyers, engineers, and business owners who have reached a high level of expertise. Financial planners sometimes call them HENRYs, which stands for high earners, not rich yet, describing their unique position in society. These households often earn well over $150,000 per year and live in highly desirable residential areas. They send their children to good schools and save aggressively, yet many of them still do not feel truly wealthy. The reason for this feeling is often lifestyle inflation, where spending rises in direct proportion to their increasing annual income. A bigger house, newer vehicles, and expensive vacations consume much of the additional income that they work so hard to earn. This is one of the most common financial traps, as earning more does not automatically create wealth if spending grows fast. Many upper-middle-class households invest heavily in real estate and retirement accounts, showing they understand the value of long-term planning. Still, they face challenges, including higher tax burdens and the need to fund much of their own retirement without assistance. Beyond this level is the upper class, which generally begins around a net worth of $2.8 million. People in this category are unquestionably wealthy, often owning valuable homes and significant investments that generate consistent passive income. However, many are still working and actively managing their finances, proving they are not necessarily living the ultra-rich lifestyle. The next major milestone is the top 1%, which is a goal that many people associate with extreme success. Depending on the source, entering the top 1% requires somewhere between $6 million and $12 million in net worth. Regardless of the exact threshold, reaching this level means your investments can generate more income than a full-time job. Your money is now producing substantial wealth on its own, allowing you to focus on things other than basic survival. Then there is the top 0.1%. A level that requires around $63 million in total net worth. These individuals often built successful businesses or achieved extraordinary investment success that put them in a completely different category. They have access to investment opportunities unavailable to most people, including private equity, venture capital, and exclusive hedge funds. One fascinating aspect of wealth is how quickly the numbers grow as you move higher up the ladder of success. The jump from middle class to upper middle class is hundreds of thousands, but the jump to the top is millions. This creates a situation where even wealthy people sometimes feel poor compared to those who are sitting on even more. Another important factor is geography, because a net worth that feels wealthy in a small town feels ordinary in New York. Cost of living varies dramatically across the country, meaning your location is just as important as your total net worth. Understanding these categories helps you see that wealth is a journey, not a destination, and you can always change your trajectory. As we ascend the ladder, we reach the upper middle class, often called the mass affluent, with net worths reaching up to $2 million. This group is filled with high-earning professionals like doctors, lawyers, and executives who bring home substantial paychecks every single month. Yet, these high-earning professionals often face a unique challenge: the trap of lifestyle inflation, where every salary increase is quickly consumed by upgraded living standards. Instead of building true wealth through assets, their income is funneled into luxury cars, larger homes, and status symbols that offer only the appearance of prosperity. They might have the outward markers of success, but their high monthly expenses often leave them with surprisingly little actual liquidity or long-term security. This is a common financial hurdle, where earning more money does not automatically translate into building more wealth if spending grows just as fast. Moving beyond this tier, the upper class begins at approximately $2.8 million, marking a shift where wealth starts to function differently for its owners. At this level, and certainly within the top 1% and the ultra-wealthy 0.1%, money begins to generate its own substantial passive income. The jump from the upper middle class to the top 1% is measured in millions, creating a massive gap in total assets held. Reaching the top 1% requires a net worth between roughly $6 and $12 million, depending on the specific data source you consult. At these heights, your investments can often generate more income than many people earn from their full-time jobs, changing your relationship with work. Then there is the top 0.1%, a tier that typically requires around $63 million in net worth to even enter the conversation. These individuals often built successful businesses, inherited major fortunes, or achieved extraordinary investment success that sets them apart from the rest of society. They have access to exclusive investment opportunities, such as private equity and venture capital, which are generally unavailable to the average investor. It is fascinating to observe how quickly the numbers grow at the top, creating a situation where even wealthy people feel poor compared to those above. It is important to remember that geography plays a critical role in this journey, as the cost of living varies drastically across the United States. A specific net worth might feel like a fortune in a small rural town, yet feel quite modest in a major, high-cost metropolitan hub. Someone with $2 million might live an extremely comfortable life in a low-cost area while maintaining a modest lifestyle in an expensive city. Understanding these regional differences can influence major financial decisions, as chasing higher salaries in expensive cities might not always improve your quality of life. Ultimately, the most vital lesson is learning to distinguish between the superficial act of looking wealthy and the quiet reality of actually being wealthy. Real financial progress is not about comparing your bank account to your neighbors or chasing status symbols to impress others in your social circle. Instead, it is about making intentional, patient decisions to build lasting security that can withstand the inevitable ups and downs of the economy. Remember that these data points are merely snapshots in time, and they do not define your potential or your ultimate destination on the ladder. With consistent habits, disciplined saving, and long-term planning, you can navigate your own unique path toward financial independence and lasting stability. Many people spend heavily to appear successful, financing luxury cars and stretching their budgets for homes that look impressive to the outside world. Meanwhile, many truly wealthy people live more modestly than you might expect, prioritizing long-term growth over immediate displays of their financial status. Consider the example of Warren Buffett, who still lives in the house he bought in 1958 despite his immense multi-billion-dollar fortune. He understands a fundamental truth that many people forget. Every dollar spent today is a dollar that can no longer grow through future investing. That does not mean you should never enjoy your money, but it does mean understanding the concept of opportunity cost in your daily life. Making intentional decisions about your spending allows you to allocate your resources toward assets that will actually increase your net worth over time. The real lesson here is not about comparing yourself to others, but about knowing where you stand and deciding where you want to go. These numbers are merely snapshots, not life sentences, and they can change significantly as you progress through different stages of your career. Wealth is built over time through consistent financial habits, smart decisions, and the patience to let your investments compound over many years. Whether you are encouraged by these numbers or surprised by them, remember that significant financial progress is entirely possible for you. The key is focusing on building real, tangible wealth rather than simply looking wealthy to those around you in your social circle. As you move forward, keep your goals in mind and stay focused on the metrics that actually contribute to your long-term financial health. Financial independence is a journey that looks different for everyone, and your path is unique to your own circumstances and your personal values. By understanding the tiers of wealth, you are better equipped to set realistic goals and track your progress toward the future you envision. Do not let the pressure to keep up with others, distract you from the foundational work required to build your own lasting financial legacy. Every small step you take toward saving, investing, and managing your debt contributes to your overall success on the wealth ladder. Take the time to evaluate your own spending habits and identify areas where you can prioritize long-term growth over short-term gratification. The distinction between being wealthy and looking wealthy is the most important takeaway for anyone serious about their financial future. Focus on the assets that generate value and provide you with the freedom to make choices that align with your deepest personal goals. As you continue your journey, remember that the goal is not just to reach a specific number, but to achieve a sense of security. True wealth provides the flexibility to handle life's unexpected challenges without compromising your long-term stability or your future financial potential. Keep learning about how money works, stay disciplined in your approach, and remain patient as you build your wealth over the coming years. The data from the Federal Reserve shows us that wealth is concentrated, but it also shows us that progress is happening for many households. You have the ability to influence your own trajectory by making informed decisions about how you earn, save, and invest your hard-earned money. Avoid the common traps of lifestyle inflation and focus on the strategies that have historically proven to build lasting and sustainable wealth. Your financial journey is a marathon, not a sprint, and every consistent action you take brings you closer to your ultimate financial destination. Look at your own finances with honesty and clarity, and use these wealth tiers as a guide rather than a source of unnecessary stress. You are in control of your financial narrative, and you have the power to change your path by adjusting your habits and priorities. Stay committed to your plan, even when progress feels slow, because the power of compounding requires time and persistence to truly take effect. The most successful people are those who understand the value of time and the importance of making decisions that benefit their future selves. As you reflect on these numbers, think about what truly matters to you and how you can align your money with your values. Wealth is a tool that can provide you with opportunities, but it is your choices that will ultimately define the quality of your life. Continue to educate yourself, seek out good advice, and stay focused on the long-term vision you have for your own financial future. The landscape of wealth in America is complex, but understanding it gives you a significant advantage in managing your own personal finances. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the wealth ladder, and we hope you feel empowered to take the next step. Start building your wealth today, stay consistent, and remember that your potential for growth is limited only by your own dedication and planning.